Welcome to Be Happy, Feel Great, where we bring experts to you to help you in your own personal development. And I have a very special guest today, a very special show. I have somebody that you saw in one of my other shows, Steve Fagan. And Steve is just one of those experts that we want to keep having back on Be Happy, Feel Great. Okay, Steve is a professional life coach. He's a certified life coach, and he also trains coaches, besides being quite a few other things, and that's what we're going to hear about today. Steve, thanks for joining me again.
My pleasure, Mike.
It's you're all over now. I see you with a rapper on TV,
Yes.
Dougie Fresh, I think it was.
Yes.
I've seen you on a show where you've been with the, I think the housewives of Orange County.
That's correct.
Who was that?
That was Gretchen Rossi, a lovely woman. Lovely, quite an entrepreneur, by the way.
Is she? Okay.
She's really quite an entrepreneur and a gracious, lovely lady.
Yeah, no, and
besides being beautiful, she's a beautiful woman.
know, so, and here you are. I'm honored to have you on Be Happy, Feel Great.
And I'm glad you invited me on this. This is really one of my passions.
Oh,
and I'm so glad to be able to speak with you about this today.
You know, your enthusiasm and everything, and living life to the fullest is our show today.
I'm with it.
And it's just, you know, the thing that I like, Steve, is you get it. You really understand what it is to live life to the fullest. And there's so many people out there, they're missing out.
Yes.
They really are, and it's very sad because it's just, it's wonderful. You know, you wake up every day and just to be able to look forward to another day and the motivation and everything. But not only do you live it, you help other people live it.
Yes. I feel, if you want to say my mission, my essence in life is to help as many people in society to live the fullest, exciting, most exhilarating life that they can. And I use the word living, Mac, on this one, Mike, mainly because it's an action word. You got to be in action. You got to be in motion. You got to be excited.
And you want it.
Yeah. I've learned how to be.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody else, we all have our things, we all have our baggage, we all have things, we all live through life. But it's how you look at it. It's how you address it.
It's your attitude.
It's attitude. Well, attitude's a big part of it. And, you know, people have heard this, say, we know about attitude, but you got to start using the attitude.
Yeah.
But the key is, you've got to look within. Many of us, and I didn't do this for many years, I always kept looking outside of myself. I was really looking for others to show me, instead of me showing myself. And today, I show myself. I'm in control of my life. I take responsibility for me. But in order for me to do that, I had to learn about Steve. And who was I? What made me tick? What talents did I have? What traits did I have? How could I add value to society? But you see, Mike, up until a few years back, I was fulfilling other people's dreams, not my dreams. And that's a key factor. Today, I fulfill my dreams by creating values for others, which in turn gives me happiness.
Look at that. You know, you really just explained a lot right there. Okay, let's just go back a little bit on that. Creating dreams for others. You know, that's like a boss. When you work for a boss, it's his dream to build the business.
Right.
You're just an employee.
Right.
You know, a lot of people, I think they're following their parents' dreams.
Yes.
You know, the parent wanted to, I don't know, go to college or become a certain career, or maybe just advised.
Right.
But it's not what the child wanted to do.
That's very true.
And then they get stuck.
Yes,
and they're in this, whatever they're doing. And I think what you're saying is you're helping people find their essence. You're helping people to really coach and get them to follow their dream.
Basically, people are living what we call the burden of life instead of the exhilaration of life. They're living with, I could have done this, if I should have done that. They're living as victims instead of the leaders that they all are. We all are leaders. We all are the opportunity. We all have the traits and talents to be the greatest we want to be. Unfortunately, we have been told, as you said, to follow others, to follow what we're told to do to support society's vision of it instead of our own vision of it. And once you turn it around, that burden of life is lifted. And you're in that exhilaration because you see each one of us has a talent, a trait, as I talked about. We have an essence, the term you were bringing up, that we have to develop and put it out there to society. But you see, I need your essence. You need my essence. And when someone's not offering their essence, really they're cheating us because it's helping society grow and develop. That's what nature's about. The concept of us as human beings, we have a consciousness which gives us free choice. And we have a choice to either follow or lead and develop. We have the choice. The thing is I want to let others know they have that choice. Many of us are not aware we have it. We've heard we have it, but we don't believe we have it. So my job really is to put it out there that you can have it. Believe you can have it, and let me show you. And you're right, as a coach, which I am, I help them unleash that dream, that goal, that objective, and then together we create the blueprint. Together, we create that blueprint for them to achieve those dreams and desires.
So you're the motivator for these people. You're the active listener. You're able to. Maybe we should just backtrack a little bit and explain a little bit of coaching. You know, I know what it is. You know what it is, but I don't know if our audience all knows. You know, maybe you could just briefly tell us.
One of my favorite questions.
Okay.
So you've got me definitely in my essence right now. Coaching. Coaches are that objective observer. Coaches are the cheerleader, the motivator. Coaches are that objective support person. It's not the parents, it's not the wife, it's not the friends. It is an objective person that you are bringing into your life to help you unleash your objectives, your essences, your dreams, your goals.
This is what helps people live their life to the fullest.
That's correct. Because
if they're stuck along the way, if they're in that dead-end job or relationship or not doing what their purpose really is, they're stuck. They're stuck.
They're in the burden of life.
Okay.
That's really the term, burden of life.
Yep.
They're living in that pain because they haven't reached what they're about. They haven't connected to who they really are. They're actually living an illusion.
And they're in a rat race, too.
Yes, they are.
It's today, you know, it just seems like people are waking up and commuting and going to a job, not liking their boss. You know, I hear this so many times, you know.
Exactly.
And they come back, and then they have to take care of the house and the kids, and there's no time for them, really. And
well, they're exhausted.
They're exhausted, sure.
They're mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausted.
Yeah.
And they're in that burden, they're in that pain, they're in that disappointment of life. You see, where they should be exhilarated with life, they're in disappointment. If I could have done this, or I should have done that, if I made this choice, coulda, woulda, shoulda, you know, we've heard that.
Right, we hate those words.
We've all hate that, but we hear it.
Yeah. You
and
have
a lot
to
of the time,
live in the moment now.
Yes.
You have to
Exactly right.
the present moment. You can't think about the mistakes you made yesterday. You know, you could have goals towards the future, but you have to really concentrate too on this is me now. And what you're saying is by having a personal coach.
Yes.
And somebody that could be your mentor, that you could talk to, that you could express these inner feelings that you have.
Right.
It's that objective person that could really lead you in the right direction.
The coach
to help
can
you live your life to the fullest.
Exactly. You see, the beauty about working with a coach, and I work with a coach too, by the way. Just because I'm a coach doesn't mean that I'm still not teachable. Oh yes, I hire coaches regularly.
Okay.
I've worked with them, and when I say coaches, I've had different coaches because as I grow, certain coaches they did what they needed for me to do. Now I'm at a higher level, or I'm at a different level, and I need to work with a different coach. And that is about coaching. It doesn't mean you stay with that person for years.
Sure.
You bring that coach into your life for a specific situation, and maybe it's time when you have to move on. And it does happen. I've had my clients where I've done what I could for them.
I have a coach that I work with. As you know, I wrote a couple of books.
Yes, you have.
And working with a coach has really helped me because I need that objective person. And in all honesty, my family they're busy. They're in that rat race, and they don't want to hear about it sometimes. And it's nice to just have a coach that could, you have to have the right coach.
That's right.
That's the other part of it. It can't just be anybody. There are a lot of people out there, they hang up a shingle, they call themselves a coach.
I know.
But if you want to live your life to the fullest, you really have to pick the right person.
Exactly.
And
That's what we do.
I'm sure you have the right people in your network.
We have
or your associates, as you call
our
it.
associates, yes, Fagan
Fagan
and
and
associates.
associates.
Everybody says, what's the associates? These are coaches. These
Yeah.
are individuals who work through the organization who are able to offer their expertise, their essence also.
Yeah.
Because we have specific coaches who have specific essences that we work with. So you're right, we cover all the bases for our clients the most we can, and it's been very effective.
Well, if I was a client of yours and
Yes.
I just said, I need some help living my life to the fullest.
Okay.
Okay, how do I go about that? How do you go about, where do we go? How does that work?
Mike, what makes you tick? What's your essence? Why are you here on this planet? Are my questions. Again, remember, as a coach, I ask you the questions.
Okay,
You're going to answer me.
so it's in me.
It's in you. I will give you the
So
questions.
You're going to give me the questions. It
Correct.
makes me think, it makes me communicate, and it makes you listen.
You listen, but it makes you think, and it makes you go inside yourself.
Okay? I like
Okay?
that.
And remember, this is very important because each one of us has a talent or trait. So I'm asking you, can you identify your talent or trait? Do you know what your essence is? And if so, tell me what it is. That's what I'm asking you. You always start at the core. And the core is our essence. It's our talents, our traits. People will say to me, Steve, well, what is your core? My core is to understand how to make people happier, communicate. I've studied, I've analyzed for years, and I have done this for many years. I've been involved in the self-help programs, the self-nurturing programs for many years. I've been involved in reading, being part of workshops and groups. I mean, I go back to the old days of the tape, when they had the tapes,
yeah.
and listening to those in my car for how I can better myself and develop myself.
You know what's great too? Just talk about going back,
Yes.
the readings of Napoleon Hill.
Oh,
and,
yes.
I think everybody looks back at the writings back from, the 20s and the 30s?
20s and 30s, right.
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill, he wrote his, back in 1926, he came out with his original, the rules and all that we need to use for being the best person we can be.
Yep.
That was out there on that part, but it goes back even further. There are many people who understood what is it that makes you that special person, that extraordinary person. Mike, that's the key, not ordinary, extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
That
I like
extra
that.
something
Yeah.
that's you're going to have. Someone will say, well, what is that extra something? Well, what do you have to give you that extra something? My extra something may not be your extra something, but do you know what it is? I know mine is that I'm very people-oriented and I'm very people-aware. But I had to be knowledgeable and teachable to be more people-aware because I learned that I could not be putting my head on your head or in your shoulders.
We're all
Your head on your
different.
shoulders.
Everybody is different. And
Exactly.
To live life to the fullest, you have to get inside yourself, as you were
That's right,
saying, and you
exactly.
have to follow your dreams. You said before, you can't be following somebody else's dreams. I think there's too many people today in society that, people are depressed,
Yes.
people are unhappy, and then you get people that, they have their own issues. Different things come up, and they,
Right.
I guess everybody goes through life, and how do you deal with this when you talk to people?
Exactly right. Yeah,
You
I know, exactly right.
There's a lot there, and I guess what I'm getting at, Steve, is I know that you had some health issues.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's something that you're willing to share. Maybe you could tell us a little bit and how you appreciate life now.
I'll be glad to share a bit of my health history, my own illnesses, and I appreciate, Mike, that you've asked. I guess one of the reasons is because of what I've gone through, I do appreciate life very strongly. I always did love life. I've always had it. I've always been energized. But over the last, really, 20, 25 years, I've had to deal with some personal heart issues and heart disease issues. And I had 8 bypasses back in 2000, which obviously they corrected it for quite a while. So for the last 14 years, I've had some really good feelings. I was able to do a lot and develop, but as anybody knows, after a while, some of those, that bypass, some of the things start to fail. They start to deplete. And I've had, over the last year, some issues due to that. But what has happened, because as I've worked with doctors, as I've worked with going through some procedures to be identified exactly where my condition is, I started to reevaluate me again. And I also started to realizing it's about attitude. See, I have a choice. I can give up, sit in a rocking chair, and just wait. or I can still live life. I can still have attitude. I can still be exhilarated. And you know what? That's what's going to keep me going. That's what's going to keep me alive, because I know things will be corrected the longer I live. See, I understand that science, those geniuses are working on things, and we're going to get them corrected.
Yeah,
so, as my doctor said to me, he said to me, you really have an attitude about really living. I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm moving forward. I've got things to do. I've got to help all of you out there, because I want you to have a fun life, exhilarated life, as I am having. Even though I have to deal with some issues, I can deal with those issues.
Yeah.
And I'm motivated to do it, Mike. And I am doing it with my knowledge. I've been researching for years. I've been studying. Now is the chance for me to take it to the public. And I have a motivational. Believe it, some people say to me, well, I'm surprised you're so uplifted. I said, you got to look at things. I have a decision I have to make. When we talked about choice, I can choose to, as I said, sit back and be depressed. Or I can say, okay, this is what it is. I've taken responsibility and have spoken to doctors and specialists, so I know my situation. I'm taking control of my life. And with that, I can now say, okay, Steve, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit back and just wait for time to end, or are you going to do something? I'm going to do something. I've learned the tools. I've learned the processes. I've been teachable. I'm a coach now. I'm a person who's in the public eye. Let me put it out there. Let me show you that no matter what your situation is, life is worth living. Life is the way we need to live. This is our time, everybody. This is our time. We are in our time now as we live life. Let's get the most out of it. Let's get our journey of living to the highest plateau that we can do. And I want to show you how to do that by showing you where your essence is, by what we call downstream focus. Isn't it easier to go down? You ever been in a stream with your boat and you can kind of go down and float with it?
Oh, absolutely.
But when your essence, you go down. It's better than going upstream, right? That's a lot of work.
And that's what a lot of people do.
Exactly.
They fight where they really should be.
Exactly.
And we're all different, and finding that essence,
Yes.
it makes it enjoyable.
Oh, it's
Why
wonderful.
not do things that you have an interest in instead of what somebody's telling you, this is what you have to do? I have had guests on the show
Yes.
that have worked in very high-paying jobs, very stressful jobs.
Yes.
Along the way, in what they thought was success, they neglected their family,
Yes.
they neglected their health, they neglected seeing the special events of their lives, their
Yes.
kids growing up, the Little League games, the birthday party, because it was work, 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 make
Right.
money, go up the corporate ladder.
Right.
And something happened, whether it was health-related, downsizing, or some of the many other things, including, personal family relationships that were dissolved. And finally, they realized there's got to be more to life.
Yes.
And I think money ends up being the poison almost to it. So they're able to simplify things.
Right.
And they wake up early, and they say they love waking up. They have projects. They have things that they like to do, not their bosses telling them to do.
Right.
They've started jobs, or, I know you do a lot with business coaching
Yes, I
and
do.
entrepreneurs and getting them started also. I do a lot with transition.
Sure.
I do a lot of transition coaching and work with people in that aspect, and I see it. And they find their essence, they find what makes them happy, and they start living their life to the fullest. Is that kind of what you're talking about, Steve?
Well, you've just explained it, Mike. Looking at you right now, and everybody who's listening to us right at this moment, Mike is in his essence. Look at the energy level. Look at the excitement. Look at what he wants to talk about. That's your essence. You're living your life today, Mike. You're living.
Oh.
And you saw that. You just gave us a great example. I was watching
Look
you
at
in
that.
awe. I love what we just saw here.
Good.
That's a man living his essence. And that's what it's about, happiness. It's about exhilaration. It's about getting up in the morning and not go another day.
Oh, yeah.
It's not rushing for Friday night. That's one of the worst things we have in the world. It's like, thank goodness it's Friday. Let's, hey, it should be Monday. It's a great day. I got things to do. I got to create values for society. I'm going to move it out there. It's not about, it's Monday. Here we go again.
Monday.
Oh, I got
today,
5 more days of
finally,
this.
it's hump day. I can't wait for the weekend
Right.
and all that.
I want to change all that, Mike. I want
I
that to all
love
go
it.
away.
I love it.
And I want people to be energized to work with it, because I'll tell you, from my health situation is all of these activities that I'm creating, value creations, is going to keep me going, keep me moving forward and energized. And even that's what my doctor said. They said, your attitude, I have things to do. I'm creating values. That's what I'm saying to everybody. You've got to create your values. You've got to look at your essence. We can show you how to do it. There are ways to do it. We know how to do it. I'm doing it. Mike's doing it. Many others are. We want everybody to be doing it who's out there.
That'd be wonderful.
Would be wonderful. It's amazing.
So many people would be happy.
Right.
Everybody would be getting along better.
Exactly right.
You know, you wouldn't have people moping around all the time with all the negativism that's out there.
Exactly it, Mike.
Helping each other. Good stuff.
It really is.
Well, you know, speaking of good stuff.
Yes.
I heard you have a program that you've developed, you're launching, and I want to hear more about it.
I want to talk about this because, you know, as we unleash people in the world, and we're going to talk about a few other things, but one night as you know, I train and I teach a few nights a week, and I work about self-development and self-leadership, etc. I've learned about mentally looking at things. How do you look at things in life? And you get what you think about, right? We all think about something. That's how we get our results. What I was studying was that I think we accept the concept of dying, I think, too easily as a people. Yes, we know there's death. We understand what that result is, etc., and that's a reality. However, why do we accept it so easily? Why do we just say, well, we're going to die, or that's the way it is? And it always bothered me is we put it in our minds too easily, where I believe we need to change that mentality. And we really should be embracing living easily. Let's talk about living. Let's talk about exhilarating of life. Let's talk about what the next month is going to be, the next year is going to be. Let's talk about what we're doing today. Let's not worry about, and I will say it, let's not worry about the next life at this point. Let's look about this life and what we have to offer. And you know, that's one of the reasons why I'm being so motivated with myself and that I'm doing well physically now, because I'm motivated myself. I'm looking at today. I'm not looking at that other world at the point. I think we need to look at living life, living it to the best we can live it. Focus on that. Put our mindset on that. So with that in mind, I've come up with a program which I've started with wristbands. And we're starting to take it to a whole nother level. But the wristbands for people to wear on their wrists is a reminder that we as a society must end the acceptance of death. We should be ending that mindset at this time. Let's not accept it so easily. So the wristband is saying to me, Steve, let's work to end the world's acceptance of death. And which means don't accept it so easily, so readily. Let's now embrace life, living. Let's be living life. And let the death factor go out there to where it will be, but let's not think about it so much. Mm-hmm. And also, let's talk more about the anti-aging. Let's talk about living to be over 100. People are doing it today. Why can't more and more people be doing it? And let's extend it. Somehow, it seems you get into that 70 to 80 range. All of a sudden, it's like you're preparing. Why? Why don't you look at being more excited and more exhilarated? And let's go for that 100-plus level. That's one of my goals. And believe it or not, yes, I'm looking to do it also. And we can do that if we change. First of all, start by changing our mind. The wristbands is a reminder. We got the color royal blue. I'm doing a coral with the print so that it stands out. It reminds us we're not going to just readily accept death. We're going to work towards living life. And that's step one.
So I guess if somebody isn't living life to the fullest that day, this is a reminder for them. They would see it there, say, why am I getting upset because somebody just cut me off in traffic? You know?
Exactly.
I don't need stress like that.
Exactly.
Let me look at the big picture, what life is all about. You know, hey, maybe he's late. You know, let me drive along and open up the window and look at the trees out there if I'm stuck in traffic. You know, let me enjoy life.
Yeah, the little things also.
The little things that's a good reminder. That's really nice.
Yeah, and that's what it is about, Mike. This is the reminder that, okay, why am I even putting my focus on that? Why am I even getting there? Let's get my focus back, and you'll have
back
that.
To what I enjoy, what gets me pumped up. Mm-hmm. I want to wake up every day. Mm-hmm. I love what you said about, living to 100.
Yes.
I recently met somebody that started playing tennis in her 80s.
Great.
And it just happened to be I was on a plane, and it happened to be the woman that was sitting next to me. A little bit of a conversation.
There you go.
She's talking about how she went down to visit some friends. Mm-hmm. decided they were all playing tennis. She never played tennis in her life. I thought that was great. 82,
Wonderful.
83 years old.
Oh, that's wonderful.
What a wonderful thing to hear about.
Great.
You know? And I think with medicine today and what we have going on for us and the right attitude, like you said, and
Yes.
people like yourself that are out there and really helping people and coaching them, I think that there's just so much that the world has to offer people.
Well, this is it. And we have to have visual examples. We have to be using our imaginations. We have to get our mind going. And that's one of the reasons why I did the wristbands. It's a visual reminder. It's physical. You know, and how many of us look for, you know, we have diseases in this world, which we know we do. I mean, I've had the heart disease. We've got cancers. We have many others that are going on. Why not start having programs for living? And we're looking to start doing programs. We're going to do walks for living. We're going to do programs in states for living.
So this will be a nonprofit that you work with?
We're working on it now to get it into that world, so we're going to be talking about how to market and promote it, and I'm going to be building this up over the next year and going forward.
And I'm sure on your website, on Fagan and Associates,
we'll be addressing
they'll be
all that.
able to find out more information as it evolves.
As I evolve with it. But right now, we are bringing the wristbands out there. We do have them out there. People are interested. We'll talk about my website in a moment, I'm sure, but they'll be able to find all that. But first, Mike, I want to make sure that you are part of what we're doing, and I'd like to offer you the opportunity of having a wristband also.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. And it was so great to have you on the show here.
My pleasure.
Can you just one more time let people know about the website where they could get these and find out more information, Steve?
All you have to do right now is go to www.Fagan, F-A-G-A-N, and A-N-D, Associates, Inc., INC.com. On the website is our contact information. Just contact us. We'll tell you all the details of how to get the wristbands, how to move forward with them, and we'll answer any of your questions. All that contact information is there at FaganandAssociatesInc.com. And thank you, Mike.
Oh, thank you.
My pleasure.